Have you ever wondered what Waluigi would do for work if he was a miserable wage slave like the rest of us? Have you ever wondered what kind of mischief Mario would get up to if he had a car that he could just aimlessly drive around a city? What's that? Mario can aimlessly drive around a city in the new Mario Kart game? Why am I always the last to know these things? Okay, fine. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to deliver pizzas in Mario 64 while you're dressed up as Spider-Man? Well, wonder no more, my friends. Welcome to the wonderfully weird world of Nintendo 64 ROM hacks. Have you ever wanted to play as Mario while he aimlessly drives a car around a city? But I guess, not in a Mario Kart game? Well, now you can! Yes, I did write that sentence before I wrote the intro to this video, and I'm now realizing that it's way too similar, but I'm not changing it, and you can't make me. Mario aimlessly drives a car around the City 64 is a Mario 64 ROM hack by Kazooie. It was created back in 2021 as an entry in Scuttlebug Razor's first hacking competition that was hosted on the SM64 ROM Hacks Discord server. The competition's only criteria was to make a hack that contained 30 stars. Ultimately, Kazooie's entry ended up placing second in the competition. The gold was taken home by Rionu for his hack Mario's Vacation Course, a game that I fully intend to give an in-depth look into later on. Once you select your game file in the standard Mario 64 menu, you're thrown right into the game. There's a quick dialogue box with controls. Then, you're let loose on the city to drive around as aimlessly as you'd like. If you are anything like me, your first impression is going to be, what the hell is with the steering? This doesn't feel right at all. It doesn't feel like a car in a video game should feel. It's more like you're turning the back end of the car around a pivot point near the front of the car. The front end stays central to the camera. So, you're just whipping your ass left and right to change directions basically. Once I understood how the steering worked, it was alright though. You can get used to it well enough and it's totally playable quite quickly. It might seem antithetical to the title, but you're actually not driving around this city aimlessly. As a matter of fact, you have 30 goals to complete within the city limits. When you pause the game, it brings up a list of goals. That is something I completely forgot the game tells you right at the start, so I actually did in fact aimlessly drive around for at least 10 minutes before I remembered. Each goal you achieve will award you a star, and getting all 30 is how you complete the game. The goals range from things like visiting a certain part of town, to running over a certain number of Goombas or Koopas, to collecting a certain number of coins. There are 3 standouts that I want to talk about. There is one that says hover above the lake, which is a weird description since there's no way to hover in this game. Or is there? Watch what happens when I drive into the lake. I'd call that hovering, I guess. Find Peter is another, interesting goal? Can you correctly guess which Peter must be found? Is it A, Peter Pan, B, Peter Parker, C, Peter Griffin, or D, Peter Pettigrew? That's right, it's C, Peter Griffin! I don't know why Peter Griffin is in this game, but somehow I'm not at all surprised. I'm also not surprised that there's a goal to mow down a poor innocent baby penguin in the prime of his life. That's right, one of the goals is to run over the baby penguin. Just look at this little fella. Could you really run him over? Would you so callously? Yeah, me too. I'd do anything for a star, for another chance to hear that glorious tune as the screen reads, "You got star." That's about all there is to this game. If you know what you're doing, you can complete the game in around 10 minutes. But on your first time through, it'll probably be more like 20 to 30 minutes. Oh yeah, one more thing that's worth mentioning, the radio stations. Much like the Grand Theft Auto series, Mario aimlessly drives a car around the City 64 has some of the best video game radio stations of all time. Just sit with me and listen to a little bit of this jazzy little number. It's a marvel of modern music. Some say it's on par with Beethoven's Fifth. Who's hungry? It's Taco Tuesday, baby. Not Tuesday when you're watching this video? Doesn't matter. It's always Taco Tuesday somewhere, baby. Waluigis Taco Stand. This is one of the more well-known ROM hacks we'll be looking at today, but it really is the epitome of silly little ROM hacks. It'd be a crime not to include it. Waluigis Taco Stand was developed by one of the most well-known and talented Mario 64 ROM hackers out there, Kazooie. I've been following this guy on YouTube for a while now, but I had no clue he made Waluigis Taco Stand. He has come a long way since then. Makes sense considering this game came out in 2018, so he's had a lot of time to hone his skills. The earliest known mention of Waluigis Taco Stand online dates all the way back to June of 2006. There's a post on the Smashboard forums in which a user, time/spacemage, in response to another user says, "Which reminds me, this one guy on Game FAQs suggested Waluigis Taco Stand." This is in reference to a now deleted post back in 2002, which people online seem to agree was the first mention of Waluigis Taco Stand. It's a shame that the origin is completely lost to time, and that the user who posted it will go unrecognised for his brilliant contribution to society. In 2018, Kaze posted to his YouTube channel this supposedly lost commercial for Waluigis Taco Stand.
Oh man, Waluigi blew all his money at the slots again. To make things worse, it's rent time. He's flat out broke. Luckily, Mr. Rent has offered Waluigi a job as a taco vendor.
Followed by another video 4 days later, showing Kaze unboxing a physical copy of the game before going on to play it on his Nintendo 64. He really went all out for this video, making a custom game cartridge, box, and even a full instruction manual to go along with it. Kaze ended up posting the game on eBay that same day, and it sold for a whopping €505. Not bad at all. So obviously, this was all just a bit of fun. We know this isn't a real Nintendo 64 game that was lost to time, just a silly little ROM hack, but one with a brilliant backstory. But how is the game itself? Well, it's a little rough around the edges, but it more than makes up for that with its charm. The game kicks off with Waluigi hanging out at the casino. He kicks the slot machine in anger and yells, "I'm ruined!" We cut to a new scene. Waluigi is back home and his landlord Koopa is here. He says he knows Waluigi can't pay his rent. He's lost all of his and Wario's money on the slots. But as a way to pay his rent, Koopa offers Waluigi a job at his taco stand. I love that Waluigi and Wario have a pet chain chomp, but come on guys, that cage is not big enough for that poor little guy. He needs room to stretch his legs. Poor choice of words, but you get me. Once you leave your house, you get shown Waluigi wearing a stylish sombrero behind the counter of a taco stand. And down the bottom, it shows you your current rank, starting you off as a taco amateur. You get instructed to listen to the customer's orders carefully. And once you've made all the customer's orders for the day, you can progress to the next level. The first order is from a Goomba who wants a beef and cheese taco, and with that, you're thrown into the first level, the taco fields. To get the beef, you need to jump on the head of a Goomba. Wait. You're telling me that this Goomba asked for a beef and cheese taco, and we're about to serve him a Goomba meat and cheese taco. That is man. That is really Anyway, to get to the cheese, you just need to find the mouse hole in the level, and there's some cheese waiting outside. Once you've got the ingredients, you can pause the game and select Serve Taco. If you got the order right, the customer leaves happy, and you move on to the next customer. The orders get increasingly complex as you go on. Once you've satisfied all your customers for the day, you can move on to the next day's work, and you rank up, becoming a taco enthusiast. The second level is an island with a tower in the centre. One of the items you'll need to collect quite a few times is fish, which swim around the shallow waters at the island's shore. For some reason, these little buggers are hard as hell to catch. It feels like their hitbox just wasn't quite right or something. It was such a struggle. I won't go through every level of the game. I'll leave some of the surprises for anyone who decides to go check this one out after the video's finished. After it's finished. It's really quite a fun game. Just some of the hitboxes feel a bit off, leading to some minor frustrations. But it's not enough to ruin the enjoyment of the game, not even close. Since we're already talking about ROM hacks based around the most delicious of foods, why don't we continue that trend? Oh, wait. What time is it?
Pizza time.
Do you remember the pizza delivery missions from Spider-Man 2 on the PS2 and GameCube? If you do, you're probably losing your mind right now. Everyone seems to have fond memories of that silly little minigame, except me. I never played it. Pizza Time 64 is based on those missions. I didn't realise how heavily it took inspiration until just now though. I loaded up a YouTube video compilation of all the Spider-Man 2 pizza delivery missions, and I looked exactly like Leonardo DiCaprio in that one way overused meme. They really just remade those missions in Mario 64. Pizza Time 64 was developed by Pasta Tower in late 2018. The game starts you out in this void where the land is made entirely of pizza, and you're the most adorable little Spider-Man that I've ever seen. To the left is this big stinking pizza pipe with a sign in front of it. The sign says that the pipe will totally warp you to the end of the game, no japes, and it ends with a very suspicious smiley face. But I'll leave you to decide whether you want to trust the sign or not. I won't be revealing all the secrets of this pizza paradise. Once you grab your free pizza token from the block in the middle of the room, you can head through the 1-star, token door. The game gives you a very important message as you walk through the door. Pizza time! Actually, the game lets you know it's pizza time quite regularly.
Pizza time. Pizza time.
When you go through the door, it's clear to anyone who's played much Mario 64 that this cutscene is edited from the start of a Bowser fight. Look at that camera motion and shake. You know what that's from. You're in the pizza shop and Mr. Aziz chastises you for being late, saying he has many pizzas that need delivering. He also explains that the map next to him is the layout of the city, and the yellow dots show the customers waiting for you to deliver them their hot, cheesy package. Then, you're onto the real meat and potatoes of the game. Or should I say, the bread and cheese of the game. You have a minute and a half to deliver all 3 pizzas in this first level. The movement is exactly the same as in Mario 64. But you're treated to this glorious tune as you run around the city. To deliver the pizzas, you just need to walk in front of the customers. Once you deliver all 3 pizzas, a pizza token appears back at the pizza shop, which you can grab to finish the level and unlock the next level. There's 3 levels in this style before you get to take on the final boss of the game. Is that the woman from Bones? I'm genuinely asking. I really can't tell, but it does look like her, doesn't it? Man, I love Bones. I need to watch Bones again. Anyway, yeah, you beat up this rude customer for a bit, and then the grand finale. You get to stare at this stunning visual masterpiece for as long as you like. There's no saving or restarting from here, you just have to turn off your console. This game is the perfect length for a goofy little ROM hack, and I had so much fun running around as a fat little Spider-Man delivering pizzas. That is, until I decided that I wanted to get all the retro achievements for this game. If you're unaware, Retro Achievements is a community-based site where people create achievement sets for retro games and ROM hacks. You can complete these sets to earn badges on your profile on the site. This set has a speedrun achievement for each individual level, as well as a speedrun for the entire game. The speedrun for level 3 took me a good hour at least of just constant retrying. I struggled so much. To go fast enough, you basically need to be continually diving or long jumping, which means you just hear this constantly.
Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time.
If I knew I wasn't going to make the achievement time, I'd just jump into the water and lose a life to exit the level as quick as possible. And every time that happens, you get to hear this.
My back!
Which, I'll admit, at first was really funny, but after an hour of just hearing,
Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time. My back! Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time. My back! Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza. 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 Pizza time. Pizza. Pizza time. Pizza. 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 My back! My back!
I wanted to tear out my hair. At this stage, I'm running out of hair to tear out, man. I'm gonna have to start on the beard. Turns out, beating your head against a wall isn't the best way to achieve something. Once I decided that my route wasn't the ideal route, and I should probably try something else. I got that final achievement in like 3 attempts. I really wish I had tried that sooner. Anyway, I highly recommend giving Pizza Time 64 a go, if you've got about half an hour to kill and you want to have a good laugh. Alright, I think it's time to deviate from the Mario 64 ROM hacks for a bit. It is by far the most common game to get ROM hacks for, but I don't want this whole video to just be Super Mario 64 ROM hacks. There are plenty of amazing ROM hacks made with other games on the Nintendo 64, including my favourite Nintendo 64 game, Banjo Kazooie. What's better than Banjo Kazooie? Well, how about a combination of Banjo Kazooie and Animal Crossing? Banjo Kazooie New Horizons is a hack by By9 Studios released in May of 2020, only 2 months after Animal Crossing New Horizons was released. There's a chance that the name By9 Studios rings a bell for some of you out there who are big fans of collectathon platformers. In October of 2023, they released their first commercial game on Steam, Cavern of Dreams. Cavern of Dreams is an incredibly cute little collectathon platformer, taking clear inspiration from Nintendo 64 platformers, including Banjo Kazooie. In it, you play as Finn the Dragon, going on a quest to free your unhatched siblings. I've had this game for a couple of years now. It's super cute and so much fun. Definitely worth your money if you're into these style of games. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Today, we're talking about Banjo Kazooie New Horizons. The game starts you off in Banjo's bedroom, but things look a little different than you might be used to. For starters, he's got a stash of radishes under his bed, like some kind of doomsday prepper who doesn't understand the decomposition of food. He's also got an NES with Balloon Fight hooked up. A classic. Good choice there, buddy. Once you walk out the door, you can really start to see the Animal Crossing inspiration hitting hard. Just look at that ground texture, it's gorgeous, I love that. Sure, it looks a little out of place next to some of the more low-res Nintendo 64 textures, but who cares? It's a ROM hack. Banjo questions Kazooie. Why are they out there collecting jiggies and notes yet again? Kazooie responds, explaining that they're going to save up to travel to Rare headquarters and demand a new game for them to star in. No more mods. Before we move on, grab yourself a nice drink and just sit down and listen with me for a minute. Ah, that's the stuff. I never expected to hear the Animal Crossing music recreated with the Banjo Kazooie sound font before finding out about this game, but this just tickles my brain in a very unique way. So good. BK New Horizons is essentially one big Banjo Kazooie level. There are 100 notes to collect, 6 empty honeycombs, 10 mumbo tokens, and 20 jiggies. This game is the perfect length for a ROM hack, for me at least anyway. I was pretty meticulous on my playthrough, trying to get absolutely everything, because I was also working my way through the retro achievements. Are you starting to see a pattern here? It took me about 2 hours to complete the game. I love a really tight, well-made hack that I can beat in an afternoon. While I was playing this, there were many times that I went, ooh, I recognise that from Animal Crossing. There's so many small details scattered throughout the game that are really fun to see. I love that you can look into the window of Nook's Cranny and you see the 2 little Nooklings peeking back out at you. I could tell a lot of the enemies were reskinned to represent characters from Animal Crossing, but I didn't really know the specifics. Like, I saw the Gruntling with the 8-ball jacket and I was like, oh yeah, I recognise that from Animal Crossing. But I've only played like 5 or 6 hours of New Horizons and no Animal Crossing since the original GameCube before that. Although I did put a shitload of time into the original one. I never owned it, but I just rented it from Blockbuster a lot. I probably spent enough on rentals that I could have just bought the game. I was watching a Let's Play of BK New Horizons by Zachary on YouTube as a bit of a refresher while I was writing this script. I was at work and I didn't have access to my footage, so this was the next best thing. And he is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to Animal Crossing, so I learnt a few things, like the fish have been reskinned to look like a sea bass. And the first gruntling just outside your house is likely meant to be Bob the cat.
Meow.
No, not that Bob the cat. This guy. What is it with games and calling cats Bob? After you collect enough jiggies and notes, you're able to head through the 90 note door and give this cheeky little monkey 12 jiggies to unlock the door to the end of the game. But that's not really the end. It's an end, but there's so much more to explore at this point. We haven't even talked about Balloon Fight yet. Remember how I said Banjo has a copy of Balloon Fight and an NES in his room? Well, you can actually jump into the TV as if it was a painting in Peach's castle. Inside the TV is a recreation of Balloon Fight that Banjo can platform his way through to reach a jiggy at the top. The area even restricts you to moving in 2 dimensions, just like the NES game. If you're able to find the last 10 notes, you can pass through the 100 note door and enter the night version of the level. How cool is that? There's a whole other version of this level with all of its own jiggies to collect. In the night version, there are these pumpkins around the place with flight pads on them to help you get around a bit easier. There's a UFO trying to abduct a sea bass and a Jinjo. And, most importantly, now you can enter Nook's Cranny. Inside the store, Tom Nook is fast asleep in his hammock, dreaming of all the ways he can scam villagers out of more money. The only other thing to note in Nook's store is that there is a sign promoting a KK Slider concert. If you want to spend all your jiggies to get tickets to see KK Slider perform live, Kazooie won't be very happy with you. But honestly, I'm with Banjo. This is an opportunity you just cannot pass up. It's KK Slider in concert. It might be harder than you think to collect every jiggy, thanks to one particularly diabolical jiggy. In the night map, there's a jiggy switch on the roof of the Dodo Airlines building. Once you slam it, you only have 10 seconds to quickly fly over to the snowy house in the middle of the level and grab the jiggy. This took me so many attempts. You basically have to immediately mash the flight button to gain some height and then hit B to launch forward immediately, and then quickly aim yourself in a split second and hit B again to launch yourself directly into the jiggy before it disappears. There is no time to mess around. The amount of times that I launched myself headfirst into the roof of the building and then had to run back to the beach and start again drove me mad. I ended up having to take a break and come back later for this last jiggy. I feared with Banjo launching himself headfirst into the building so many times that he might end up with CTE and become a danger to society. If there's one game that you try out after watching this video, make it Banjo Kazooie New Horizons. It's a really great hack with some really fun jiggies to hunt for. Plenty of humour, a brilliant soundtrack, and lots of little Easter eggs for Animal Crossing fans. My favourite Easter egg is found in a toilet. No, seriously. You can go down the toilet, and instead of finding the literal representation of what you'd normally find in a toilet, instead it's been replaced with an Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival game. Speaking of shit, here's Banjo Kongzooie. Nah, I'm just kidding guys, I'm just kidding. It's a little bit janky, but it's not bad. Banjo Kongzooie is a Donkey Kong 64 ROM hack by Glorious Liar, who, according to his YouTube bio, is a glitch hunter, Tazza, and speedrunner of Donkey Kong 64 and other Rareware games. From what I can see, this is the only full ROM hack that Glorious Liar has released, but he's got some useful tools for Donkey Kong 64 hacking on his GitHub. Banjo Kongzooie is exactly what it sounds like. It's a mod for Donkey Kong 64 with the maps from Banjo Kazooie. You can explore Spiral Mountain, some of Grunty's Lair, Mumbo's Mountain, and Treasure Trove Cove as your favourite tie-wearing big booty babe and his 4 friends. There are 25 coloured bananas for each Kong in both levels, as well as a number of jiggies to collect. I was playing an older version of that hack that's compatible with retro achievements, but while doing some research for this video, I found that there's a newer version available that allows you to swap between Kongs with a button combination, rather than having to backtrack all the way to a tag barrel every time. So that will save you some time if you choose to play this hack. Really, there isn't a whole lot to say about this hack. The levels are not designed for the Donkey Kong 64 engine, so sometimes you'll slip off edges that you kind of feel like you shouldn't, especially in the Termite Mound in Mumbo's Mountain. Trying to climb that as Lanky Kong was quite the test of my patience. There was also an instance where I was trying to jump up a slope as Chunky Kong, This slope was one of those ones that makes you slide down, so I shouldn't have been able to jump up it. The game got mad at me for even trying, and I just fell through the floor into the vast abyss below. I also forgot that you can float as Tiny Kong, so I spent way too long trying to long jump between these pillars in Treasure Trove Cove, getting more and more frustrated, before I eventually remembered, duh, she can just float. And then that really trivialized this section of the level. Once you've collected all the jiggies in the game, you can go through this door in Grunty's lair to be taken to the end credits of the game. This is just a short little hack that you can breeze through in 15 to 20 minutes. But if you're a fan of Donkey Kong 64 and Banjo Kazooie, it might be worth your time, just for the novelty of it. Moving away from silly, fun little ROM hacks to something far more serious. Something that affects us all, even Italian plumbers. That's right. Climate change, and how Mario is going to stop it. I personally can't think of anyone better for the job of stopping the world-ending destruction caused by climate change than Mr. It's-a-Me himself, Mario.
Name? Mario. Last name? Mario. Okay, what's your name?
Luigi.
Luigi?
No, Luigi Mario.
Apparently, I'm not alone in this, as Kaze, yes, the very same one we spoke about earlier in this video, thought that this was such a good solution that in October of 2019, he decided he needed to make a Mario 64 ROM hack to prove it. Okay, in actuality, this hack was made to help spread awareness for Mr. Beast's Team Trees event. You know, before the world collectively realized that Mr. Beast kinda sucks. Like, really, really sucks. The game starts out like a normal game of Mario 64, until you enter the castle and talk to the Toad in the foyer. He tells you that he's come from the future, the year 2150 AD. He explains he's used his Cardit, or Carpet Augmented, to ride dimensionally in time. In the year 2150, Bowser Jr.'s son, Bowser Jr. Jr., has taken over the last hospitable area of land, and Mario, travelling to the future, is their only hope for survival. The problem is, air pollution has become so bad in the future that it would be fatally toxic to Mario's sensitive present-day lungs. So, in order to be able to safely travel to the future, Mario must first make environmentally friendly changes in the present day. This will have a positive impact on the future environment. So, now it's time to head to Bob-omb Battlefield and get to work, saving the environment. What's happened? The grass, it's all dead. And the chain chomp, he's roaming free. This doesn't look good. If you talk to the pink Bob-omb over by the cannon, he'll be so happy to see you. He lets you know that there's a fight that's broken out over in Four Pole Field. He's concerned that if it keeps up, a full-blown war will break out. Unfortunately, the hot-headed black Bob-ombs aren't listening to reason. So, he suggests maybe you try cooling them off with some water. Over in Four Pole Field, you can talk to the pink Bob-ombs who are all concerned about the toll the war is taking on the environment. This feels eerily relevant to today's political climate. Lucky for Mario, in his world, putting a stop to this is as simple as grabbing some gigantic water droplets after they land just north of the battlefield. With these droplets, he can head back to the black Bob-ombs and chuck water at them to defuse the situation. Once you've cooled off all the black Bob-ombs, you're awarded your first star. Alright, time to head back into the battlefield for Mission 2, Bob-omb Ambassador. Some of you more keen-eyed viewers may have noticed the slight change in scenery. The grass isn't looking quite as dead as it was before Mario stopped the fight over in Four Pole Field. It looks like Mario is making an impact. If you chat to old mate Pinky over by the cannon again, you'll come to realise his importance in figuring out what you need to do for each star mission. He'll let you know that the Pinks are planning to negotiate a peace treaty with the black Bob-ombs. They have an ambassador making a trek up the mountain right now, but he's a bit of a scaredy little whiny baby wuss boy. So, old mate asks if you can go and check on him. So it's time to make your way up the mountain. Right at the base, just past the rolling cannonballs, you'll come across the bloke in question. When you talk to him, even if you stand directly in front of him, he'll say, "Ah! Don't come up behind me like that, you startled me. You almost made me explode." My friend here needs to relax. Almost ended it all because someone just startled him. He then goes on to say that he wants to negotiate a peace treaty with King Bob-omb, but the path is just too scary to go alone. Oh, the poor little guy. So, since it's too scary to go alone, he instead asks Mario to do literally all of the work and just carry his ass up the mountain. Once you get to the top and drop him off next to King B, the king says very stubbornly that this war's been going on for too long to just give up the mountain. If we want peace, there's just one condition. Turns out it's a pretty easy condition too. Something that I think some world leaders right now could maybe take into consideration. They just want to be allowed to continue living on the mountain, the place that they've called home for God knows how long. Of course, Mario and the pink Bob-ombs are chill as hell, so they're all for it, and they agree to plant a tree in celebration of this momentous occasion. Shit, I didn't know trees grew that fast. Why does everyone complain about deforestation? Just plant more trees, it's not that hard, clearly. After this, there are 4 more stars to collect in Bob-omb Battlefield. With each new star you collect, the battlefield becomes a bit greener. There are more trees around the place, and less fighting between the Bob-ombs. I won't go over all the star missions, I don't want to spoil the whole game, but this is the general progress of this relatively short ROM hack. Once you have all 6 stars, you can head back to the foyer in Peach's castle and look up into the sky to be transported to the future. Ah, shit. The future is a scary place. It's actually just a reskin of Bob-omb Battlefield again. Well, kinda. There's lava everywhere. The grass has turned grey, and all the NPCs have vanished. Or maybe died? But hey, at least Mario made enough of an impact on the environment that now he can breathe in the future without a lung full of lethal cow farts. Where the pivoting bridge normally is, just past the Chain Chomp's home, there's now nothing but a lava plume that shoots up from time to time. I tried long jumping the gap, but there's no way that Mario can make that jump, so I think you just need to land in the lava and get hot butted up onto the cliffside. After that, you need to make your way up the mountainside, dodging little fire spitters along the path. At the top of the mountain, it's time for the final showdown with Bowser Jr., who looks suspiciously similar to his granddad Bowser. This is just a standard Bowser fight. Then, at the end, you're treated to some dialogue. Beaten by my grandfather's old rival too? How can this be? You must be over 200 years old by now. Worst of all, my plan actually made you save the world. How could my plan backfire that much? Curse you, Mario! Then, of course, he explodes into a key, and once you've collected the key, you're treated to this glorious JPEG. The end. I love this game. It's short enough to get through in one sitting, it's got some really fun missions, and a great message that everyone could learn a thing or two from. The only major issue I ran into was during one of the missions you need to collect 100 coins, and each coin you collect plants a flower in its place. However, as you get closer and closer to the 100 coins, the game starts absolutely chugging along. It just can't handle that many animated PNGs of flowers dancing in unison, I guess. It is doable, but I did see a number of comments on the Retro Achievements page of people saying that their game crashed numerous times during that mission. Lucky for me, I never actually got a crash. Just major slowdown. Kazooie has come so far with his Mario 64 hacking skills in the years since he made this hack. I'm sure he could easily optimize that mission 100 times over at this point. But that's what happens when you play developers' earlier games. You sometimes run into bugs and glitches, and that's just part of the fun. I love ROM hacks. Getting to see the unique ways developers' minds work when limited by an existing game's constraints. But also knowing that they made these out of pure passion, with no way to profit off of them, it means that they can really just do whatever they like. Which is why so many of them turn out just so dang weird. There's just something special about art made for art's sake, and ROM hacks really can be the epitome of that. Or they can just be a complete meme for meme's sake. And that's beautiful too if you ask me. I have plenty more ROM hacks that I want to cover in videos, but I'm going to have to leave this one here. I spent way too long on my last video covering every licensed Game Boy Advance kart racer. That took me way too long to get out, like 4 months with no videos. My bad. I really needed to make a shorter video just to get back into the groove of things. Please let me know in the comments down below, what are your favourite ROM hacks, or the weirdest ones that you know of? I'm always looking for more. Well, until next time, see ya.